Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and every single Friday I want to give you a macro look at the markets. You're not stuck in the small time frames getting too emotional. Let's take a look at what's happening on the big picture for Bitcoin, gold, the NASDAQ, silver. We're going to look at the S&P, the dollar, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, and anything else that might be sparking my mind right now. So let's take a look at the bigger picture for these broader markets and everything that is a potential risk factor for Bitcoin and more. So let's take a look here what's happening. Bitcoin did lose a key area on the monthly. That monthly candle closed January bearish, which created another dip here in February. We dipped down to the lower liquidity zone. What does that mean? Well, there's a support of resistance when you look left here for Bitcoin. The first level you want to look at there is 59,000, where these two candles had a tweezer. Whenever you see tweezer bottoms, a red candle next to a green one and such, that's a bottom area. And you can see we also had some resistance there, and we kind of fell through it. We did wick into it. We have since bounced. I believe the low of this candle was 60,000 even. That's crazy, right? So the low of Binance was 60,000 even. Too many people stepped in. We couldn't get lower than 60K. On some, futures areas, I think we went to 59,900, 59,800, something like that. So the 5 was achieved on futures, but we never went lower than 60K on spot. I was able to gobble up Bitcoin at these areas. I hope you did too, but it's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. I just think this is a great time to be buying things when the fear is very high at 9. We may go lower. We may go to 55. We may go to 40, 48, 38 even. But to me, at least we're 50% from the bottom. It's not that big of a deal. And that's when I start really accumulating and looking for opportunities. So I see a lot of opportunity right now at extreme fear. That's when I start buying more and more Bitcoin. So I like these key levels. We can see if we do lose them, the next big support will be $47,000 Bitcoin right there. So that's just the one thing you got to look at. If we don't get a bigger bounce, if this doesn't close red, and then the next March basically has to close green with a tweezer bottom. Like, it has to look like this. We got to get a green candle next to the red one, a green candle next to the red one, a green candle next to the red one. It looks likely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months straight of Bitcoin dumping. We've only seen 6 months there. There was 3. It's very rare we've seen 6 months straight of Bitcoin dumping. I think it only happened one time in its entire life. So, hey, we will see. Moving forward to the 2-week and the weekly, you can see that we're stuck on this key area, and we did basically wick right to almost the weekly 200 moving average. If you're my student, you know that the first thing you do is you lose that daily, then the 3-day 200, and the 4-day, then the 5-day. And once you lose the 5-day 200 moving average, you come back to the weekly. If this candle can close back above the 5-day 200 moving average, there's a chance we get ourselves a V-shaped recovery, which would make this a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. What if this is a low? Bitcoin then bounces back, and we never see this low again for Bitcoin. And this is the last chance to buy Bitcoin at these levels. This is a possibility. That's why DCAing in here, taking a nibble for Bitcoin, I think is just a must-do. And as Bitcoin just right now got back above $70,000, which is another key move for BTC. So that's actually really, really good to see. So it just bounced from 60K to 70K overnight. That's the type of moves Bitcoin does, man. It creates opportunity very, very fast. So this looks bullish to me if we can stay back above that 5-day 200 moving average. I want to see the daily close this tweezer bottom. And as I suggested even to my trading group, and I was showing that, and I'm in this long right now, is just to open up a long and see if we can get all the way back up here to about, $87,000 and get this beautiful move back to the upside. So it looks likely. The bear scenario is this kind of wicks back down and doesn't create such a big candle and creates a bear flag. But right now, this is like a nice V-shaped recovery back to 70,198 right now for Bitcoin. And so we're starting to see the movement back to the upside. This is a pretty sweet move here for Bitcoin. So the daily closes green. The next candle is likely to be green, right? And we won't like it if it's a bullish engulfing. You can take out that candle or at least match it. And it tells me there could be reversal. Last night, we talked about jumping into the 4-hour time frame and putting a stop loss down here. That paid off. You're still in the money right now, and it looks like it could continue further to the upside. So if you're my trading group, I gave this call, and we're looking for a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. We can get out of this. The measured move back up takes Bitcoin all the way back to about 95,000, and then we're back in the money again, which is pretty crazy. So anything is possible. Stay open-minded, stay focused. But this is kind of what we're looking at here for Bitcoin. So I'm bullish on a recovery. I could see how it may not happen, but right now we're looking more bullish than bearish for Bitcoin to get a bounce here back to the upside. We'll see where the daily candle closes tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for me on the East Coast of America. So there's your Bitcoin update. A reversal looks like it's in the works. Let's take a look now at what's happening to the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. I always like to take a look at this too. Total market cap, same idea. It's going to follow the Bitcoin run. So if Bitcoin does this move bigger to the upside, so be it. We'll get the move. One other thing, though, is we didn't go, we have some stronger support here. Technically, like we didn't take out this low. We are in the chop. But let's see again. Could the monthly close with this big wick and then close another monthly candle? It's really about March's close. That's going to give us so much information. And I know we're about, we're basically about, 55 days out. But we'll take our time. Actually, no, yeah, we have about 52 days. No, 42 days out. Yeah, because, we have about 22. Yeah, we have 52 days out until we really get that information. But hey, bounce off the weekly there, 200 moving average too. Shoulder, head, and shoulder kind of did its thing. Could we hold here? And can we get the V-shaped recovery? As long as we stay above the weekly 200 moving average, we have a chance for a move further to the upside. And again, here on the daily and then to the 4 hour. So I'm really watching the daily and the 4 hour. And it's imperative that we continue this move back up. If this move starts to break down here and starts to do something like this and turns into a symmetrical, we're probably going to dump. This has to kind of continue and make two right shoulders. Otherwise, this is not happening. So you really have to look for this to continue to run up. Make these two right shoulders and pump as Bitcoin holds 70K right now. The altcoins, the total market cap, all the altcoins, total 3. Same story. Sol's leading the charge with the bounce, watching what Bitcoin's doing. And so people were saying, hey, if you can hold this key level, we could possibly get a bounce. And you could do this, really. You could say, hey, well, maybe Solana makes this giant inverted head and shoulder. And this is just what I've been seeing. Like, I've never overly bearish on altcoins. They just look like they're going to take so long. Like, this is September of 2026 or something, right? Till we actually start to get. But again, it does tell you this is a great buy, and you'll be back in the $1 trillion region eventually. So, hey, this is your bullish, your bullish hopium here that you bounce. As long as you stay above the weekly 200 moving average, this could be the bottom for the altcoins right now. I mean, they've been so sold off, more than I've ever seen. And they're technically still holding this trend line, right? If you kind of break this down, they're still holding the trend line. And they're pretty dang close to this trend line, maybe one more little dip. And so that's interesting. And there's some hope here, even for Solana and the other coins, as even we were trading Solana earlier today. 70,144, Bitcoin doing its thing. This is good to see so far. So good. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance, just to kind of take a look at what's happening here. If Bitcoin bounces back strong, we'd like to see Bitcoin dominance kind of win. At the same time, like it's been the Bitcoin show this whole time, and now maybe there's a chance that Bitcoin gives a little back to the altcoins. What I'm seeing actually, it looks like Bitcoin actually may drop a little bit here in dominance, you see, and come back. There's some support, but it doesn't look amazing. And it looks more like a shoulder, head, right shoulder there, and almost like a descending triangle. Again, no guarantees. We'll take a look at our daily. Our daily is also headed down for dominance. So Bitcoin pumping up. Dominance struggling a little bit. But, when Bitcoin rips, I expect dominance to get strong. But people also saying, well, Solana's a great buy down here. So if altcoins just look like there could be, like buying Solana, I think is a better option. I love buying Bitcoin, but I mean, like there could be a better return there if you're looking for just returns. If you're looking for long-term wealth, I believe Bitcoin is the answer. Or I get into Solana and then I flip those wins back into Bitcoin. Like I'd only buy Solana on a better return, thinking that I could buy more Bitcoin with it. Thing is, I right now on these dips, I bought Bitcoin. I didn't buy anything else. I bought tons of Bitcoin as much as I could. As we dipped down to 60,000, I felt like it was just a must buy. The fear and greed index again, all the way at a 9. I mean, to me, I've never seen that not be a beautiful buy for Bitcoin. So I had to jump in on that. I had to grab that up. So here we are with tether dominance. And you can see it did make a bull flag and it eventually ripped. The target of the bull flag was the previous pole. We saw that could be a possibility. I was looking for the right shoulder to dump, but this thing just went on a tear. And then when Bitcoin collapsed, we knew the shorts were in control and we got the moves. It was a beautiful move here and everything kind of panned out the way it was supposed to. But now we're tweezer topping on the daily. Just like Bitcoin's getting that move, you got to come back down to the 200 moving average, to the 21. You're just too far. Especially, so same thing here on the 3-day chart. So what I'm expecting is a little bit of a pullback. And what I could hope for is this makes a head and shoulder pattern. So just like, you flip this upside down, we're looking for Bitcoin to make the inverted head and shoulder, right? If I put the plus sign, flip this upside down, you're looking for Bitcoin to make the inverted head and shoulder. You can see it's the same inverted head and shoulder we're looking for Bitcoin to complete. And so far, so good at Bitcoin at 70,400 with a really nice move further to the upside here for BTC. So we want to see this collapse, right? And why would you want to be in Tether where the dollar is struggling worse than it's ever done, right? So same thing here with Bitcoin on the dollar. I see it making a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, right? I want to see the dollar continue to go down. I love the US dollar. Don't get me wrong. I love the United States, but we have new forms of currency. They printed the dollar, pretty harshly. And so I expect it to lose some more value here. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. We might get a little bit of a bounce here, but then another hill. And I'm looking for this kind of head and shoulder to continue lower. And this will kind of help Bitcoin bounce back a little bit too as well and make it and put things into perspective. So I like what I'm seeing here with Tether dominance and the DXY. They're both making some sense as we can get a recovery here in the markets. With that being said, I like to look at gold because gold looks like it's kind of following the same way. If the dollar loses, gold will be, will continue. That was just its first little rally, but I believe there's more coming for gold. So right now, when I look at gold, it looks good to me. Like it looks like it's going to start consolidating yet again. A long-term buy for gold makes sense. You'd be able to swing trade it probably when it starts to resemble a bigger ascending triangle. But I see gold doing this like it did, just like it did here. Same scenario. They're going to continue to print this money, man. And big countries are basically converting money back to gold. It looks like we're going to go back to the gold standard. They're going to maybe even the U.S. might put the dollar back on the gold standard because, it makes sense. And give us something to actually stand on here. So this looks beautiful. I like gold. A buy for gold to me is a pretty good idea. And it looks like it could continue to go to the upside. Stop loss is somewhere between $4,200, $4,300. So that target takes it to 7,200 somewhere by May. So yeah, I don't see this stopping, this gold train, honestly. It's actually looking pretty dang good. And then silver, silver and gold might as well do them together. Silver is bouncing off the 3-day. You want to pull a Fibonacci from that impulse there, and you can see we came right down to the 786 fib. I mean, that's exactly what we talked about Bitcoin doing. If it does end up going to 38,000 or $40,000, right? That's just kind of go with that idea. And then this idea is like silver's in a bit of like a falling wedge here that could break back to the upside, right? So I'm looking for silver to bounce. I really am. And again, you could make it just looks like it may make a bigger channel. So this just may take a longer time for silver for whatever reason because it was just more drastically moved and it has a smaller base case. So you could see it just, doing something. Let me get away from there. Just doing something like this. And eventually I do see silver making some moves though and getting back up to somewhere like, 171. And that will be in March or April too. So I'm not counting silver out just yet. And it's at the 618 Fibonacci retracement. This is where I buy distressed assets when they're oversold after a massive sell-off. So this could be a really good time to get into a silver trade, but it's up to you. The education has to make sense, and you have to kind of follow through with that idea. So, and last but not least, let's take a look at the S&P futures as I'm calling for a massive jump. Like they took that dump again, but they're printing money, folks, and the dollar's dropping. And when the dollar drops, this thing rips. Look at the S&P going on a massive tear right now. Every dump has been a beautiful buying opportunity, every massive dump, and I see the same thing here. I'm still stuck on the S&P. You can actually get into a long right now on the S&P with stops below 676, and I believe it won't hit. I believe this thing will continue to rip, and we'll head to 7554 because they're printing money beyond belief every day. Same thing here with the NASDAQ. It bounced off the low. This is what I'm looking for. You can tell I've been doing my due diligence here on the NASDAQ. I actually just traded this and sold it here today for a day trade. Made a nice $1,000 just, overnight while I was trading it. I see this kind of completing this idea. Shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. Getting tighter inside this moment. Inside the pattern, making a nice movement here. And then booming up to about $2,900, 29,000. Somewhere by May, it looks like we're going to have a pretty nice move here. And people are going to front run the rate cuts and the money coming on in. And hey, maybe we even just get a rate cut in March. There's a chance. So I like what I'm seeing right now. Let's take a look at the CME. Is there any, I'll just refresh this. Just want to see if if it changed. It was like 90% that they wouldn't cut the rate. It's back to 85. That's a bullish, if that keeps going down and this keeps going up, that creates more bullishness for the market. That also lowers the dollar and speculates people more into the NASDAQ and to the S&P. So there you go. That is your top-down analysis for Bitcoin. That is Bitcoin. That is the total market cap of all the altcoins, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, the DXY, gold, silver, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. I don't think you'll get a better comprehensive view at the bigger picture of these markets. Come here every single Friday to get it. I'm going to give it to you, and we're going to trade it too as well. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.